Within seconds, an old clip resurfaced, and this time, it wasn't just any old clip. Netizens began to notice something that felt different. The lingering stares, the overly natural reactions, and the tiny pauses that spoke volumes. And amidst it all, two names once again came to the forefront: Bai Jingting and Zhang Ruonan. At first, it all seemed like a typical promotional stunt. Easy interactions, staged laughter, and chemistry built for screen time. But the more people rewatched the clip, the more it became clear that something wasn't entirely acting. Fans began to slow down the video. They analyzed it frame by frame. And that's where everything changed. The eye contact wasn't just a look, it was like reading each other. It was as if they were speaking a language they couldn't hear. The moment was simple. There was no dramatic dialogue. There was no background music to direct the emotions. Yet precisely because of its simplicity, it felt raw and honest. Too honest to be scripted. Some said this was simply the result of strong professional chemistry. After all, in the Chinese entertainment industry, building a CP, or on-screen couple, is a very common strategy. Actors and actresses are often trained to create the illusion of closeness to attract viewers. But does all that explain the spontaneous reaction? In the clip, there's one part that left many speechless. When Zhang Ruonan smiles, not a camera smile, not a promotional smile, but a small smile that just appears. And even more surprising, Bai Jingting responds almost reflexively, as if it's something he's seen many times. Such a reaction is difficult to fake. Their body language also speaks volumes. The distance isn't too close, but not entirely formal either. Their bodies are subconsciously turned toward each other. Even the way they stand conveys a level of comfort rarely seen in ordinary working relationships. Observant fans began to theorize. Was this simply the result of extensive training? Or was there a closeness developing off-camera? This phenomenon isn't new. The entertainment industry often leverages actors' chemistry to create romantic narratives off-screen. But in many cases, the line between reality and promotion is very clear. What makes this moment different is its untidiness. There's no sense of contrivance. There's no perfect timing. It's precisely those imperfections that make it feel real. Some analysts even discuss the micro-expressions that appear in the clip. Quick eye movements, split-second changes in expression, even a slight hitch in the breath. Small details that would normally go unnoticed are now hotly debated evidence. And the more people discuss it, the more the clip goes viral. Social media platforms are filled with theories, analyses, and reactions. Some believe this is evidence of a hidden connection. Others remain skeptical, believing it's simply the result of high-quality acting. But one thing is undeniable: this moment makes people feel something. Not just watching, but engaging, questioning, feeling the subtle tension between them. And perhaps that's where its power lies. Bai Jingting is known for his meticulous attention to detail in every role. Meanwhile, Zhang Ruonan has a knack for conveying subtle yet powerful emotions. When these two styles meet, the result can be truly convincing. But is that enough to explain it all? Or are we witnessing something more than mere professionalism? Perhaps we'll never truly know what was going on behind the scenes. Perhaps this was all just a coincidence magnified by the public imagination. But one thing is for sure, this moment changed the way people saw them. And now, every interaction, every glance, every little smile will always feel like it has a deeper meaning. Because after seeing that clip, it's hard to go back to seeing it all as just an act. From then on, every public appearance felt different. Even in seemingly casual interviews, viewers began to read between the lines. There were small pauses before answers, laughter that came too quickly, and moments where one of them seemed to be holding back something unsaid. Some fans even compared old clips with newer ones. They looked for patterns. Was there a change in the way they interacted? And surprisingly, many found consistency. The same gestures, the same unchanging way of looking at each other, as if the dynamic between them had remained stable over time. This further fueled curiosity. Because if it were all just part of a promotional campaign, such interactions would usually fade after the project wrapped. But here, there felt like a continuity that was hard to explain. On the other hand, others tried to look at it rationally. They argued that as professional actors, it was natural for Bai Jingting and Zhang Ruonan to form such a strong connection for their roles. After all, this industry demands a high level of emotional depth, but even the most logical perspective couldn't completely erase the doubts that arose. Because what keeps people coming back to the clip isn't just what's seen, but what's felt. There's a warmth that can't be easily fabricated. There's a familiarity that doesn't seem forced. And perhaps precisely because everything is so subtle, people are increasingly convinced that something is hidden. This phenomenon also shows how the public is now increasingly sensitive to small details. In the digital age, a single expression can be analyzed by thousands of people in an instant. And in this case, every second becomes the subject of endless discussion. Interestingly, neither Bai Jingting nor Zhang Ruonan have ever directly addressed this speculation. There's no clarification, no affirmation. This silence only adds a layer of mystery that makes people even more curious. And ultimately, perhaps that's why this moment lives on, not because of the answers, but because of the questions. Because as long as there's no certainty, the public will continue to search, interpret, and believe their own versions of what really happened between them. Over time, the narrative that had formed around them began to evolve into something bigger than just a single viral clip. It wasn't about a single moment anymore, but rather a series of small interactions that, when put together, formed a story that felt cohesive. A story that was never officially told, but was believed by many. Fans began to connect with each other, from the way they said each other's names to how they reacted when they were in the same room. Things that were previously taken for granted were now seen in a completely different light. And that's where an interesting effect emerged. The more people believed, the stronger the narrative felt. But behind all this, there was also another, less discussed side: the pressure that comes from public expectations. When two people are constantly linked, their every move can be subject to interpretation. Even the simplest actions can be considered proof. This created a complex situation. On the one hand, public attention brings popularity. On the other, it also limits personal space. Some industry observers have called this phenomenon a double-edged sword. Strong chemistry can be a huge asset, but it can also be a liability if not carefully managed, especially when the lines between the characters and real life begin to blur. But it's precisely because of that ambiguity that this story endures. There's something captivating about an unsolved mystery. And in entertainment, mystery is often more powerful than fact. Because mystery allows space for imagination, and imagination is what keeps viewers coming back. Every time that clip resurfaces on someone's timeline, the cycle begins again. New people discover it, old people remember it, and discussions rekindle. It's as if the moment never truly ended. And perhaps, ultimately, that's what makes it so special. Not because we know what really happened, but because we don't. Because in that uncertainty, there's a lingering curiosity, pushing us to look closer, feel deeper, and inquire further about what's truly hidden behind the scenes.